Hello, my name is Yashis from Fun Robotics Network, and on this episode of FTC FUNalysis, we're heading to the Romania Southeast League tournament to break down a history-making performance. We're looking at a new world record score of 421 points in the finals match. In a match where every second counted, the lines of 2265 Heart of Robots and 15993 Info1 Robotics showcased what happens when elite level preparation meets aggressive field control. From heavyweight defensive maneuvers to a highly synchronized funnel cycle strategy, let's see how they did it on this episode of FUNalysis.
This video on Fun is brought to you by our viewers, supporters, members, and also in partnership with the following. DECODE Robotics is inspiring teams to build better robots with their new array of FTC team options. Check out their updated bevel gears and Maverick hex shaft motors, Planetary gearbox options, and 6mm hex components and shafts for extreme power transmission. Go to Studica.com/robots to learn more and apply for discounts. True competitors know that every second counts. That's why Kettering University challenges you to dive in right away as a first-year student. Participating in robotics programs helps Kettering students secure a valuable co-op. Whatever your interests, Kettering gives you more space to work faster and win faster. Learn more at kettering.edu/first.
Let's get ready to break down this historic 421-point match, the world record for DECODE this season. On the Red Alliance, we have 20265 Heart of Robots and 15993 Info1 Robotics. And sharing the field with them on the Blue Alliance, we have 21807 Velocity and 19234 Bite Force. As we can see, all the teams are in their designated starting locations on the map or on the field, with 20265 and 19234 choosing for the far zone, and 15993 and 21087 choosing to start near the goal in the close zone. Before we get started with the match, one of the biggest things that I've seen and that I heard from teams that were participating on the Red Alliance was that the key to their foundation to the strategy of this match was their preparation and synergy before the regional even occurred. They spent multiple hours in time practicing together, specifically to synchronize their autonomous and their driver movements so that their movements would be telepathic, in sync, and avoid traffic jams within the match. So they won't hit each other, they won't interfere with each other, because they always know what the other is going to do in any given scenario at times, which I think is the best part of FTC and the best challenge or approach to different matches. If you know that there's going to be teams that you live nearby or that you're close to, try and create a scrimmage with them. Scrimmage with other teams around your area. It's the best way to get good match experience and also get good synergy with different teams that you know might be a good chance for an alliance partner in future events. And you can potentially come out with an awesome high score like the Red Alliance did here in Romania. So, without any further ado, let's get started with the match. As we start, we can see all four teams immediately moving, getting ready, starting to shoot their balls or artifacts into the goals. The first thing we see is 15993. They're immediately grabbing those first three balls off the spike mark, but they're also opening the gate and letting more balls flow out into the corner for 20265 to get in the remainder of the autonomous period, so that they never have to go to the gate. They can just move to the side and try and get the extra goals that 15993 are bringing out from the goal with them. As we continue, we can see that the Blue Alliance is also scoring pretty well with 21087 also grabbing artifacts from the gate and effectively cycling them, as well as 19234. They're pretty much on par with artifacts scored so far. Both of them having scored around 15 or 16 different artifacts throughout the match, but we can see that 15993 is still continuing to let the balls flow into the human player zone for their partners 20265. As the autonomous period comes to a close in the last few seconds, we see that 15993, they opt for one last cycle of artifacts, as opposed to opting for the points for leaving the starting line. So every other team or robot on the field, 20265, velocity and bite force, they have all left the line. They're not touching it no longer. So they all get those points except for 15993. In my opinion, I think this is a great decision. If you know you have the time to score an extra 3 artifacts in the match, it's always worth it to do that over go for the leave points, especially in playoff matches where ranking points just don't matter. You don't need ranking points to change your ranking to try and get a higher qualification placement because it's playoffs. So always go for the high point bonus as opposed for the high ranking point variance play. As we move into Teleop, one of the biggest parts of the Teleop strategy that I want to talk about is the gate to corner funnel that the Red Alliance will complete. As we can see, 15993 Info 1, they focus on taking directly from the gate, but it's where they don't need to drive the full distance to score every time. Flicking the balls towards the corner as well, the ones that they don't intake, in order to give their partners 20265 an easier time in case they ever don't want to travel to the gate or travel to the blue side, which they are doing currently. Another big part of this is moving the big part of that is moving the scoring elements closer to Heart of Robots. But it also relies on high-speed human-player interaction, which relies on the human player sort of providing a constant stream of elements into the field, as we see here. But it also sort of forces the Blue Alliance's hand by when you sort of introduce those extra elements to their side, it potentially creates a problem for the human players. As you know, if they ever have more than 6 artifacts outside the field on their side, you're just going to start getting penalties every 5 seconds. So every time that you start putting more artifacts here, that gives you less opportunity to be able to introduce artifacts onto the field, which could draw penalties from the other team for having more than 6 artifacts on the side. But it also just provides opportunities for Heart of Robots to grab artifacts from either side of the field, get 2 options, and you never really have to think about where you want to go for your artifacts next. The next thing that we see is 20265. They have physical dominance over the other robots. I think it's one of the most unique aspects of this match, where they intentionally use their weight to their advantage. If you can see here, as we start, they're going to start pushing the Blue Alliance, sort of corner them into the far zone. Because of their weight, they're able to do this very easily, and they're also just able to score with no problem despite moving or trying to push another robot or getting pushed by the other robot at the same time. I asked Heart of Robots how heavy their robot was just to sort of get an idea of the strategy, and they said it was around 14.5 kilograms. So that's pretty heavy in terms of FTC robots. But when you think of their strategy in the fact that they want to use their physical dominance, they want to use their weight to their advantage to sort of push the pocket, push the full zone, and try and take control of it, and prevent other teams from really controlling that full zone while still being able to score. The weight is definitely a bonus for the team, especially since they don't have to move as much at all. Remember, their human players being very quick with introducing elements. We're filling up the other alliance's human player zone, so there's always artifacts there if they need to get them. So the weight and not being able to move around as fast is definitely a good trade-off for the Heart of Robots. So as we can see the Teleop period continuing, one of the biggest things that we'll notice is our alliance partner on the blue side here is disconnected. So unfortunately, they did disconnect, which makes this match sort of a 2-1, but that does not take away from the fact that the Red Alliance has been dominant so far. There's not much action in the close zone, regardless of whether the robot is disconnected or not. So I find it hard to believe that 15993 would have been opposed too much. Maybe they would have scored 1 or 2 artifacts less, but nevertheless, we can see that this robot is disconnected, which is sad. but we do see that both teams, we can see 19-2-3-4, are still cycling effectively here, and able to score throughout the match as all the robots continue to rapid fire shoot in less than like half a second for all three artifacts, which is incredible work of robotics and engineering to be able to shoot that fast. And we can see them continuing to implement their strategies of using their weight to their advantage, trying to take over the corners, intake from the gate, but also let balls through for Heart of Robots to get from either corner, reducing the amount of movement. And we can see that they clearly have a coordinated plan. They're rarely at the same place at the same time. They're always on different areas of the field, and they always have something to do, and they're never interfering with each other. So now in the last 20 seconds, Endgame has begun, and we'll see why the wait was so necessary for the Heart of Robots. If you can see here, their robot is slowly starting to rise up in order to allow for 15993 to park under them to get to secure the double parking points by the end of the match. Here we can see they're both parked with 20265 rising pretty high above the ground, and 19234 of course is also parked in their own zone, which made this an amazing match for everyone to see. Both robots being parked, 124 artifacts being scored, which is insane to think about. That's almost 62 per robot, assuming they're split equally. The amount of movement speed that's required, the amount of shooting speed that's required, and more is just insane throughout this match. If we take a look at some other points in the match where we can look and focus on 15993, as you can see there, the speed at which they're shooting those artifacts is just amazing, and it's one of the biggest contributors to their win in this match. They're able to clear all cycles, as well as 20265 Heart of Robots. They're also able to score very quickly, but that's one of the cleanest aspects of this run, of this match, that I think is also key besides their strategies to them winning. They're able to score so many artifacts so quickly that by sheer overwhelming, like, they're able to overwhelm the opponent as well into thinking, oh my god, I have to lock in, and it sort of puts a lot of pressure onto the other team and other alliance to do well throughout the match. So besides that, I think it was amazing. They scored 421 points. Obviously, I'll go through their strategies again. Like, the biggest strategy they had was just their synergy. I mean, you could see it in the end here during the Endgame 2. 15993 was able to get ready and parked into the spot very easily because of the synergy and the preparation that the teams had throughout before the league tournament by practicing together. So all FTC teams watching, I would definitely suggest try to get together with other teams in your area. Like, just send a message to them. Try and organize a scrimmage with multiple teams. You never know what could happen at something like that. Maybe they could find some sort of flaw that's on your robot that they have a solution that they're able to fix it with, and then you'll be even better when you go to regionals or states. Or you can just find a partner that you really like and sort of create a plan like 20265 and 15993 did here to really take the competition by storm. And who knows, you might have a world record too. They also had their cycle optimization. 15993 was really good at being able to open the gate, funnel 3 artifacts into the robot, but also let the other artifacts flow down, allowing for Heart of Robots to really intake them very easily, which is something that Info1 did really well at creating those opportunities for Heart of Robots, as well as sort of overwhelming the human player on the Blue Alliance into potentially maybe having more than 6 artifacts. I don't think it happened in this match, but that's definitely maybe some sort of thought that goes into a strategy like that. At one point during the match, we did see there was a lot of artifacts in that human player zone. Yeah, like right here, we see that there's almost 8 or 9 in there, maybe 6 or 7 artifacts that are in that human player zone, so it's overwhelming them. There's not many spaces for them to put the artifact on the field, which could start ticking down into the penalties for the match. And then lastly, they had the physical dominance, 2-2-6-5, They were just bigger, they were heavier, they were able to take advantage of their weight and push other robots and take control of the far zone in a way that other teams are not able to, and still be able to score efficiently while at it. Thank you for watching this episode of FTC FUNalysis, and I hope you enjoyed seeing this masterclass in how to use physical presence and alliance chemistry to break the game wide open. Let us know in the comments what you thought about this match and the strategies used, and if you want to see more high-level strategy breakdowns like this, make sure to like and subscribe. For Fun Robotics Network, I'm Yashis, and thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell to stay up to date on future fun videos. True competitors know that every second counts. That's why Kettering University challenges you to dive in right away as a first-year student. Participating in robotics programs helps Kettering students secure a valuable co-op. Whatever your interests, Kettering gives you more space to work faster and win faster. Learn more at kettering.edu/first. Studica Robotics is inspiring teams to build better robots with their new array of FTC team options. Check out their updated bevel gears and Maverick hex shaft motors, Planetary gearbox options, and 6mm hex components and shafts for extreme power transmission. Go to studica.com/robots to learn more and apply for discounts.